Shalom, this is Lion's Roar. We just want to go over something that brothers seem to have a problem with from time to time. The thing that we are speaking of is the Sabbath day, which is Shabbat. We're going to talk about Shabbat and discuss how brothers should act before the Shabbat and after the Shabbat and during the Shabbat. And we're going to start out with Genesis chapter 2 and 2. And we just want to give you an understanding of how brothers should act with one another. All right? I'll go ahead and read Genesis 2 and 2 for me.
Genesis 2, verse 2. And on the seventh day, the Most High ended his work, which he had made, and rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made.
Right. So the seventh day he rested from all his work, and this is really just to give you an understanding. Any kind of burden that you may have that you took from the day before into the Sabbath day, you are to forget it. You are totally supposed to rest. When it says rest, the Most High wants you to rest your mind, and along with your mind comes your body, right? So he wants you to give up your burdens. All right, read the third verse, Ak.
And the Most High blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he made rested from all his work, which the Most High created and made.
Right, so he created that day and made that day for us to rest. It's simple, right? And we already know if you got a job and you just started working there, you're not going to get that day off. It takes time, right, to actually get that day off. So, I mean, with this comes the filtration of Hamashiach Yahushai. So we're just trying to give you the understanding, right? So give me Exodus 20 and go into the commandment. All right, go into the commandment.
Exodus 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy.
Right, so we are to keep this day holy as well. So you resting from all your work, but you're also supposed to keep it holy. The way you keep it holy is to separate yourself from all your burdens, from all your chores, from all your problems. All right, go ahead.
6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work.
Mm-hmm.
But the Sabbath day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy power.
Right, so we're supposed to rest on that day. It's the day of the Most High. Go ahead.
In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy sons, nor thy daughters, thy manservants, nor thy maidservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that is within thee, within thy gate.
Right, so if you're resting, the rest of your family members should rest. The rest of your workers should rest on that day. The reason being is if you're resting and you see your workers, they're not resting. They're out there cutting the grass. That's causing friction with you. If you're sleeping, if you're taking a nap on the Sabbath day and you're hearing the lawnmower going, that's going to wake you up. That's not rest. That's going to bother you. Also, your workers shouldn't be working anyways. Everybody should be getting immense with the Spirit, with the law, statutes, and commandments, with the understanding of the stories of the Bible. Okay? You should spend hours of the day learning this with yourself, with the brothers and sisters, and with your family. That's what it's about. All right? So anything that you had before, forget about it.
Verse 11. For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Right, and hallowed it. In other words, we're going to keep this throughout our days, right, on the earth. So, I mean, when you look at this, I mean, the Most High made this really a simple law for us to follow. And we have polluted this day and caused ourselves to get ejected out of our homeland And now the Gentiles have taken over and changed our rest day. On that day that we rest, your bodies are in line with everything. All right? They're in line with the planets. They're in line with the stars. They're in line with everything that the Most High created on that day to rest. Your organs, your heart, all of that stuff is in line with everything around you to rest. Okay? Go to Jeremiah. I just typed it in, but go to Jeremiah 17:27.
Jeremiah 17, verse 27.
Uh-huh.
But if ye will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear a burden.
And not to do what?
To bear a burden.
Right. So what is a burden? A burden is something. Go ahead.
Making it harsh on a brother.
Right.
That if a brother has to, because we are in the captivity, if a brother has to work on the Sabbath and a brother that has off on the Sabbath, he's putting a burden on that brother, knowing that brother has to work on the Shabbat.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't give that brother a hard time, because use a little bit of common sense and understand, our situation that we're in this kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that's
don't make it a stumbling block.
There it is. So basically, the Most High is telling you, don't make a stumbling block for your brother by putting pressure on him. That's what a burden is. To add pressure on someone's psyche or their mind. Okay? Keep reading that.
It says, and not to bear on, not to bear a burden, even entering in at his gates of Jerusalem.
Right, stop right there.
Sabbath day.
Stop right there. Give me Nehemiah 13 and 19. So it says, even entering in at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, right? Because if we enter Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, you would cause your brother to bear a burden by what? If you're trying to sell Vendels, you're causing him to bear a burden because he feels the need to have to buy something because his family may need something, right? We all need things. Even on the Sabbath day, we always need something on the Sabbath day. But the Most High keeps us from going out there sinning by buying things on the Sabbath day. Give me the 19th verse out.
Right, and I just want to iterate on what you're saying. Like, we know when the Sabbath comes, we all, brothers fill up their tank with gas, or, you get your food preparation before the Sabbath. I'm talking about something as simple as if your kid is sick and you need to get medicine on the Sabbath day. Now, would you go get the medicine, or would you let your kid suffer and wait till the Sabbath just the next day to go down to get this one medicine?
Yeah,
we came across in that situation with someone, and we knew that he would not give his kid medicine until the Sabbath day ended. But he didn't understand that, and we're trying to explain to him through the scriptures to show him, like, you can do that, but at the same time, you're doing it because you're doing good on the Sabbath, as far as you're getting medicine for your child.
Right. I remember that too. I remember when that happened. That was in the late was it late 90s? No, that was late 2000, 2007, 2008. Brother had some children that were sick on the Sabbath day. Even himself was sick on the Sabbath day. But what the brother is saying is, if you know your child was sick on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, don't wait till the Sabbath day to do something. Do it before. The Most High is showing us to prepare prior to the Sabbath day coming in. Take your child to the hospital on Friday, if you can help it, to get the medicine, so you can treat that sickness or that illness. Also, if you are getting off work, get your gas on that Friday, early before the Shabbat come in. If you get off late, then get it the day before. Get it on Thursday. Gas up on Thursday. Buy your food, your groceries on Thursday for the Shabbat. Your lettuce wraps, your turkey wraps, your chicken wraps, so you can eat on the Sabbath day. You got to prepare early. All right? So you don't go into the Sabbath saying, oh, I need this, I need this. This is what the scripture is that we're about to read about. Okay? Read Nehemiah 13 and 19.
Nehemiah 13, verse
19.
19. Nehemiah 13, verse 19. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened till after the Sabbath.
So after the what? After the Sabbath. Come on.
And some of the servants set I at the gate, that there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day.
Right. That no burdens be brought in the gates on the Sabbath day. Because why? Because our people, we always have a yearning to spend. If you got money, you have a yearning to spend to buy things that you need. So what Nehemiah the prophet did, he and the scribe, what he did was he shut the gates of Jerusalem to keep our people from burdening. The heathens were parking in front of our gates to come in with their bodegas and their trucks, so to speak, so you can understand, with all their goods in there to sell it to our people. So he shut the gates so that wouldn't happen. If you read on, it'll tell you, read 21 out.
Verse 21.
Read 20 and 21.
20 and 1, okay. It says Nehemiah 13, verse 20. So the merchants and the sellers of the kind ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice.
Right, so the ware is like Tupperware, pots, vendals. All right, so that's where they get ware from Tupperware. It's just pots and things like that. Go to 21.
Then I testified against them and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall?
Mm-hmm.
If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath.
Right, so they came no more on the Sabbath. Why? Because our leaders, right, where the gates languished, because our leaders are the gates. They shut the actual physical gates and locked them and told these people, don't come back on the Sabbath day. This is our holy day. All right. So they were trying to bring burdens on our people. All right. Let's go back to where you were. What was that? Jeremiah 17:27.
Yeah, I'll read it from the top again. You want to read from the top again?
Yeah, read it from the top.
Yeah. Jeremiah 17, verse 27. But if ye will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear a burden,
Mm-hmm.
even entering in at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire in the gates thereof, and it shall devour the places
The
of
palaces.
Jerusalem.
It shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem.
The palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched.
It shall not be quenched. So the Most High is warning us, look, you do things on the Sabbath day, what's going to end up happening is all your places that you live, all your palaces, all your cities, they will be quenched with destruction. All right? So that even goes for today, believe it or not. Same thing as with our cities. You look at our cities, it's quenched with destruction today. Okay, so that's not the nature of why we wanted to bring this. We wanted to bring this because what happens before and after the Sabbath day? Okay? The things that happen before and after are just as wicked as you buying on the Sabbath day, as you doing all matters of your own pleasure on the Sabbath day. So our job is to do what? Throughout the week. Give me Proverbs 27. Give me Matthew out. Go to Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. 6 and 34.
6 and 34.
Yeah.
Matthew 6, verse 24.
34.
Take therefore, 34. 6 and 34.
Mm-hmm.
Take therefore no thought for tomorrow. For tomorrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof.
Right. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. In other words, he's saying every day has a amount of evil in it that you're going to have to encounter. So why take evil from one day and put it towards another day? You see? A lot of you brothers and sisters, you go into the Sabbath mad. You go into the Sabbath angry. Go to Ephesians chapter 4 and 26. Go to Ephesians 4 and 26.
So yeah, Ephesians 4 and 26. Be ye angry, and sin not. Let not thy sun go down upon your wrath.
Right, so he says, be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. So a lot of you brothers go into the Sabbath day angry, right? Read the verse above it.
Verse 25. Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another.
Right, so we're members of one of another. So he says, put away all lying and angriness and maliceness, right? Because when we do that and we go into the Sabbath day, it's worse, because you're going to take, as soon as the Sabbath day is over with, guess what you're going to do? You're going to take that evil right back into the next day, right? You got brothers who's talking about, oh, I'm going to kill this brother on Friday morning, but the Sabbath came in. So you're like, oh man, I gotta stay holy on the Sabbath day. I can't kill him today. He lucky. I give him a break. Soon as the Sabbath day ends at evening, what's the brother doing? He looking for that brother to kill him. You don't think our people was doing that back in the Bible days? They was doing crazy stuff like that. You know what I mean? They was waiting. The Most High speaks about it. He says that Israel, they were swallowed up. They were doing things that the heathens were doing. They were keeping the Sabbath day, but as soon as the Sabbath day was over, they was talking bad about each other again. They was killing each other. They was doing wickedness, man. Right? They was taking other men's wives. They was doing craziness. So the Most High is telling us, look, we are to do good, what? Every day. Daily. That's why he says, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth. But thou shalt what? Keep the laws every day. Study it day and night. Right? Read the 27th verse.
27. Neither give place to the devil.
Right. Neither give place to Satan. Right? Who is a deceiver. Don't give place to him. Right? Don't commit adultery after the Sabbath day just because you knew the Sabbath was coming. Don't do it at all. And just like we got brothers in the truth like that, you got Christians in that. Right? Now, when you look at Christianity, we know that Christianity is wrong. But what they say about Hamashiach, they do speak righteousness when they speak about the stories of Hamashiach. But the institution of Christianity is wicked in itself. Okay? The institution of Christianity is what took people off their lands. The institution of Christianity is what killed millions of people. The institution. Not the stories of Hamashiach, but the institution of Christianity is wicked in itself. Read verse 28.
Verse 28. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the things which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth.
Right, so on the Sabbath day, when you can't buy or sell, you might have brothers and sisters that need something. Might need a blanket because it gets cold. You got to give it to them. They may need a jacket. You got to give it to them, right? Give me Matthew chapter 5, Or is it Matthew 10? Give me Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10. Yeah, and go to verse 11.
Matthew 10, verse 11. And unto whatsoever city or town you shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy,
Uh-huh.
and there abide till you go thence.
Right. So he
And
said,
when you come,
uh-huh.
and when you come unto an house, salute it.
Salute it. Say shalom. Shalom. Salute that house in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it.
Uh-huh.
But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you.
Now, this is twofold. When it says, and let the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. Now, this was most of the time when Yahushua did most of his works, it was on what day? It was on the Shabbat. All right? Most of the times he did his things were on the Shabbat. When he sent these disciples out, it could have very well been the Shabbat. Because he told them what? Read verse 9 real quick, Ak.
Provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your person.
Right. So, I mean, if you take brass, gold, and silver, you're going to want to buy some on the Shabbat if you're hungry. Right? So he said, don't take that stuff. That's why when you go down to the 13, it says, and if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. When you go in that house, if they have food already prepped for that day on the Sabbath, they're not cooking, they're going to provide it for you. They're going to give you what you need, okay, to do a brotherly thing on the Sabbath. But this shouldn't only apply for the Sabbath. This should apply for before the Sabbath and after the Sabbath and during the week of the Sabbath, okay?
Verse 14. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when you depart out of that house or the city, shake off the dust of your feet.
Right, you're going to shake dust off on your feet if they're not keeping the Sabbath day, if they're not honoring their brother or honoring their neighbor, right? But this is twofold, like I said. This could apply to the Sabbath day. We know that they did their miracles on the Sabbath days, but it also could apply during the middle of the week. But the main thing is, go back to Proverbs 27 and 1 out. The main thing is, we are to do righteousness every day, right? We are not supposed to hold any grudges towards our brethren, right? And towards our sisters.
Proverbs, I'll be able to get verse there. Proverbs 27 and 1. Boast not thyself till tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth.
Right, so basically he's saying, don't boast about tomorrow. You know, a lot of brothers in the truth boast on tomorrow. You know, they don't think about today, what today brings. They boast about what they're going to be doing the following day. You know, it's not important. All right, especially on the Sabbath day. Don't boast about the next day. Study the Most High's word. Let's go to Zechariah 8 and 17. And then when you think about it, on the Sabbath day, brothers be talking about what they're going to do after the Sabbath is over before the Sabbath is even over. Oh, man, we're going to go over here after the Sabbath. Man, why is that important? Today is the day that you've been looking forward to all week. The next day is not as important as this day. This is a day of rest. You think the Most High thought about the 8th day when he was on the 7th day resting? No. Our job is to think about the Most High continually throughout that day. Pray against this country. Pray against the people who bring us harm, right? I'm talking about not of Israel, of the other nations. Of the other nations. Not of our own, but of the other nations, right? Go ahead, Ak. Bring that.
Zechariah 8 and 17.
Uh-huh.
And let none of you imagine evil in your heart
Uh-huh.
against his neighbor.
Mm-hmm. Against his who?
Against his neighbor.
No, the other nations.
Against his neighbor.
This is against his neighbor. Okay, who are your neighbor? Your neighbor is Israel. Okay, go ahead.
And And love no false oath.
And love no false oath. What's a false oath? The Pledge of Allegiance is a false oath, right? The things that you believe in this country are false oaths. They're not the oaths of the Most High, right? Go ahead.
For all these are things that I hate,
Right.
saith the Lord.
So the Most High hates. So he's telling you all these other oaths, all these other things are evil. They're wicked. But when he says, imagine no evil in your hearts against your neighbor, that's speaking about the children of Israel. Go to Leviticus 19:27. Remember, the greatest two commandments is to love the Most High with all your heart and to love your brethren as you love yourself. And who are our brethren? We'll see right now.
Leviticus 19, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart.
Right.
Thou shalt anywise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
Right. So our neighbor is Israel. Okay. So on the Sabbath day, you're supposed to love your neighbor. On the day after the Sabbath, you're supposed to love your neighbor. On the day before the Sabbath, you're supposed to love your neighbor. All throughout the week, you are to love your neighbor. Go ahead, read the next verse out.
18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against thy children of thy people.
So he says, you're not going to bear any grudge. And we saw this earlier. A burden or a grudge, same thing. Don't bear any grudge or burden against the children of your people. Okay? Your people are the Israelites. The Negroes, Latinos, American Indians of Negroid descent are the Israelites. Okay? Those are your people. Go ahead, Ak.
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Mm-hmm.
I am thy power.
I am the power. So on the Shabbat, this is what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to have preparance, supposed to prepare, supposed to help our brothers and sisters, supposed to visit them in the hospital, supposed to feed them, right? On the Sabbath day, we're not supposed to cook, we're not supposed to work, we're supposed to rest. Rest mentally, rest physically, all right? So these are the things that we have to learn how to do in this captivity, all right? Just to give you a little bit more insight on it. Right, Ak? Got anything else to say?
Yeah, I want to go to first. We'll go to 1 John 2 and 7.
Which one?
1 John 2 verse 7.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see what our forefathers did in the New Testament.
All right.
What they say about the commandment.
1 John 2 and 7. Brethren, I write no new commandment unto you, but an old commandment which you had from the beginning. The old commandment is the word which you have heard from the beginning.
Right. And what was the commandment? The Most High said, keep the Sabbath day. So this is nothing new. You know, this is nothing new with the Most High told us to keep. Keep the Sabbath day. You know, it's not a do. It's not a. You know, it's an old commandment. You know. So, you know, like I said, we're just trying to show our brothers how to, you know, keep the Most High's commandment and show love against our people. Let's go to verse 4 and 7. Chapter 4, verse 7. In John.
Okay. Chapter 4.
So, yeah, we'll go over to verse 7, 8, and 9.
1 John chapter 4. 1 John chapter 4, verse 7. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of Yahwah. And everyone that loveth is born of Yahweh, and knoweth Yahweh.
Right. So, how we know the Most High? By keeping the Most High's laws, by loving one another. That's how we know the Most High. You know, I tell you that. Okay? Where?
He that loveth not knoweth not Yahweh, for Yahweh is love.
So anybody that hates their brother or wish death upon his family, that brother has no love in him of the Most High. I don't care how many scriptures he could break down. Or, he says, he knows all of the scripture. That brother has no love of the Most High in him. Okay? Go ahead.
Right. And this was manifested the love of Yahweh toward us, because that Yahweh sent his only begotten Son into the world, that we might live through him.
Right. And that's, we all strive to live through the Most High Son that he sent down. So, yeah, man, we got to, like I said, we have to love one another and start keeping these commandments. Okay? So, that's all I want to bring out there.
Right. So with that, we're going to say Shalom from Lion's Roar. We pray that all the brothers get understanding in this truth to the best of their ability before doing crazy and stupid things. All right. This is a higher power that we have within our minds and souls, those who walk with clean hands. All right. So let's stay on point and let's do righteousness. All right. With that, we'll say Shalom.
Shalom.
To be prince over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone, and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.